if you don't know how to communicate, you're fucking lost, my friend. If we go outside and we ask people why you're doing what you're doing, no one can give you an answer. I've always been ambitious, but I never showed it. So if you want to live like a king when you're 28, 29, 30 years old, now you're 19 or now you're 20, it's time to do the work. I was picking up girls, and just like, hey, do you have Instagram? I have Instagram. Boom, setting up a date. That's how I was getting it, cold leads, basically. It just
lead generation.
Stopping them in the middle of the street. Basically, everything I started was a failure. I'm used with getting rejected. I don't care anymore. Even if a girl rejects me, she's like, no, I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend. To me, that sounds like, Bruno, next, that was my problem. I was failing and I was not learning from the failure. Yeah, man, just do everything you can. Because at the end of the day, no one is going to give a fuck about me or you. When I started my career, I always had to improvise. But with this girl, I literally was like, my brain just completely shut down. And I'm like, fuck it, I don't know what to do. There was the awkward silence for 2-3 minutes. And then she left. She left the Zoom. She's like, thank you for wasting my time. And then she just left. And I'm like, fuck this shit,
After finishing high school, he didn't really know what to do with his life. He wanted to do something that his parents would be proud of, but his parents wanted him to be a doctor. He got into med school, but shortly realized that, oh wait, this is definitely not for me. So basically, after that, he got introduced into the whole world of selling. He discovered high ticket sales and that he can close for other people. Basically, in this whole podcast, guys, we dive into various topics such as whether 20s are the most important years of your life and Bruno's view on this whole idea. Also, Bruno tells us what's the one most important skill that everyone should develop, and no, it's not sales. Even though we talk a lot about sales as well and how salespeople are like doctors, how to become better communication, especially if you're an introvert. Bruno opens up quite a lot and tells us a story about his most embarrassing sales call ever. We had a laugh there. We also talk about rejection and how to be able to not take things personally when this happens, why and how most people are just ships and going by, following orders. And we also touch upon life as a battle and how most people are becoming softer and softer and why they are not fighting their own battles. And that's kind of it, guys. I mean, we vibed around and we discussed quite a lot of insightful topics. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to the one and only Bruno Bajrami. You are listening to The Grateful Show with your hosts Pascu
and Bogdan. Join us on our mission to spread awareness around mental health and make people feel happier and overall more grateful.
Each week, we bring you an inspiring guest, stories, and a message that will help you become your best self and pursue your life mission.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of The Grateful Show. Hope you're all doing fantastic, and if you're not, you're about to be, because today we have none other than Bruno Bajrami. How is it going, brother?
I'm doing amazing, man. How are you?
Yeah, very well. Really excited to do this with you. Just to break the ice, what are you grateful for today?
Today, I'm grateful that I woke up, man. It's
really important. I mean, if you wouldn't wake up, you wouldn't be able to do anything that you are doing.
I wouldn't
be
here. I wouldn't be here.
Exactly. That's right.
It's the little things, because when you think about it, like as you said, without waking up, you wouldn't be able to do shit. And also without being able to see, without being able to walk, to talk, to all of those, I guess, basic things that we forget about and take for granted. But Bruno, before we dive any deeper, for our audience that doesn't know much about you, hopefully they do, but if they don't know much about you, can you give us a 3 to 4 minutes introduction into how you came to be where you are now, please?
Absolutely. My name is Bruno Bajrami. I come from Albania, a small country next to Greece, for those that don't know. And basically, my journey started back then when after I finished high school, I had to decide what was the thing that I wanted to do, for my life, right? My parents they sat down and they were like, okay, so what is the next step? What do you want to do with your life? And I didn't know what to do. Like I was always thinking and overthinking, right? Like, should I do this? Should I do that? Right? Like, just like everyone else, right? The ones that don't know exactly what course, to follow in life and what profession this. And I wanted to do something that my parents would be proud of. Was the first thing that I wanted to do. And something that they were really proud of was becoming a doctor. I don't know, for some reason, a lot of, parents, they want us to go into, like doctors, like you can help people, right? You can help people, you can make money as well. It's a very respected job, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. I mean,
job
it is
the future.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not saying it's not, but for me, I started it, but like, man, when I saw that the people next to me, they were studying like machines, I don't have, I can't stand a chance against these people, I knew I'd fail basically because, man, school was never my thing. I always cheated in school. For some reason, the teachers, they always loved me. And that's why I always, got good grades. Good grades, I mean, like, let's say, for example, out of 100, because the grading system is different in all countries, right? But out of 100, let's say I was getting 75, 80, which was good, I was happy. I was satisfied. I could say to my mom, hey, I got 75, 80. It should be like, good job. Because I was not like an excellent student or something. And after that, I asked a friend, I'm like, hey, man, you're older than me. What do you suggest? Do you have any idea what should I go for? And he's like, hey, man, I'm in Switzerland. I'm studying hospitality management. I'm like, okay. And he's like, and it's a very good school, like here it's chill, like with the grades you can get there, you can easily come to this school and you can get a good job. That was my mentality back then, to get a good job. And a country like Switzerland, for us in Albania, it's like hitting the lottery. It's like a huge thing for us, It's not like the other Europeans, that it's something normal to them. Okay, I discussed it with my parents and they said, okay, you can go to the school. I went to the school, worked very hard there, but of course I didn't feel it again, right? Like school was still that, wasn't my thing again, like teachers were talking, I was reading other books, like, personal development books. Anyways, long story short, I came across, back then was Dan Lok. He was the first guy that I came across when it came to high ticket sales and something that I never heard before, right? And he introduced me into that world of selling that you can, close for other people, took his course, took his, inner circle, became part of his inner circle, found a good job. And that's how I started, in sales, basically 3 years ago, 3 years and a half.
Well, it's very interesting to hear that basically whilst you were in the school, as much as you weren't that, I guess, passionate about the discussions that were being had in the classroom, you would still read self-development books. Like you could argue that majority, 95% of students that are not interested in those lectures or classrooms, they would either be on Instagram or like doing anything else but studying or developing themselves. How come you had that initiative to start with?
That's a good question, man. Everywhere you could turn your head, everybody would be on Instagram on their phone, right? Like doing some shit, playing games with each other, like a multiplayer game, For me, I had this, I'm an ambitious kind of person. Like, I don't know when it started, but I've always been ambitious, but I never showed it, right? Or let's say I always had a drive that I wanted to become good at something. I wanted to achieve something in life. Part of that is because of also my father. He's a businessman, right? He's very successful. And also subconsciously, looking at him, closing deals, nice house, nice cars, nice this, nice that. I was like, I also have to do something with my life, And of course, being in your 20s, those are the most important years of your life. If you think about it, we will never, I don't know, how old are you, Pascal?
I'm 25.
25. And you, Bogdan?
I'm 24, but gonna be 25 as well this year.
But yeah, 24. Me, I just turned 23. So we are all in the 20s, which means that the 20s are the most important years of our life. Because after we change, we go to 30s, things are going to be different a bit, right? Gotta be more serious, gotta, find a girl if that's something you'd like to do, be in a relationship, I don't know, like some people get married, right? Up to whatever. So things are going to be different. So now is the time that we don't have any obligations. And that's what I always told myself. You don't have obligations. So you have to pay the price today so you can pay any price tomorrow. So if you want to live like a king when you're 28, 29, 30 years old, now you're 19 or now you're 20, it's time to do the work.
Couldn't agree more. But talking about the 20s, I'm really curious because everybody has different opinion on this. But what's your take? What skills, which are going to be the best skills you can learn in your 20s that can help you when you're going to be older in life?
Well, man, that's a very good question. And one skill that is very essential that I never had, but I had to learn it the hard way, is communication skills. If you don't know how to communicate, you're fucking lost, my friend. If you don't know how to talk, how to sell yourself, how to express your ideas, how to convince other people. And now we go into sales, right? Which is something that, of course, I'm very passionate about. But communication in general, right? Like just communicating with another human being, it's art, if you think about it, right? So communication is number one skill. And it's a skill that more and more people are not able to learn. More and more people, are just ignoring it. And, it's because also everyone is on their phone nowadays.
Yeah.
Everyone is chatting. I see also my brother and my sisters, because I have one brother and two sisters. They're always, chatting with their friends. If you call them on the phone, they're going to hang up. They won't even respond. Text me. What the fuck is this text me? Open the phone. I want to talk to you. No, I prefer texting. You know what I mean? Like it's disappearing, and the ones that have it and they learn it, they're going to be powerful. No doubt about it.
For sure. Communication. And yeah, as you were mentioning, of course, we're going to dive into the sales aspect of it. But if you really think about it, like I just want to reiterate and go a bit deeper, it applies in everything. Like it applies when getting a job, it applies in starting a business, it applies in finding clients, it applies in closing clients.
Getting a girlfriend, being in a relationship, everywhere.
Exactly. Yeah. Being able to like ask for favors, being able to persuade other people to go with your idea, with your view and all those things. It all comes down to communication, behavior science, psychology and all those things. But diving a bit more towards sales, would you say that you always had this, I guess, pull towards being more extrovert, towards being more open with people? Because sales is definitely something that introverts find very difficult, at least in the beginning stage.
No, myself, I'm an introvert. Like I'm not an extrovert or something. Like when I'm with people, my battery, it goes down. When I'm by myself, that's the moment I recharge. And yeah, sales for me, I thought as well that that's something that only like extroverts can do, but it's not true. Introverts can become even better salespeople. You know why? Because introverts, we can listen better than the extroverts. Because the extroverts I've seen, I can't put everyone in the same bag, you know what I mean? But from what I've seen, also my friends, my colleagues, that I had them also at my course when I started, they were pretending that like they were listening, they had this enthusiasm, this, that, but in reality it was being a bit fake, like they were not truly listening. But us, we're more like, we're better, I think, better listeners.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Why would you say listening is that important when it comes to sales? Because for some people listening right now, they're like, aren't you supposed to like talk the client in like buying your stuff? Like, how does it all work? Why would you have to listen when you're trying to sell something?
I mean, that's why we have 2 ears and one mouth. Listen twice as much as you speak. No, it's true. Like, you should listen more, because the thing is here. When you're talking to a client, right? Let's say, for example, I have the solution to whatever problem he has, right? I have a service that is the answer to his problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
He comes on a call with me. And guess what? If I would be talking, I do this and that and that, and I've been talking for 20, 30, 45 minutes, right? I'm the one talking and he's the one listening. What did I learn from him? Do I know something about him? Like, what is his pain? Why he has that? For how long he has that, right? Like, he came there because he has a problem. And us, on the other hand, because I see myself as a doctor, is the doctor talking always, or is saying, so tell me, what is your, like, what is your illness, right? Tell me more about this, so I can listen to that and, of course, give a solution to that. That's how I see salespeople as doctors.
Yeah,
diagnose before prescribing, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and you know what's funny? For me, because I have worked in sales, I can say almost all my life as well.
Nice.
In UK as well, I started in sales because it's the easiest job you can get, I guess, or one of the most easiest jobs you can get without having a degree, and you can learn really fast if you are willing to learn. But for someone else who, for example, like we spoke, it's an introvert, what would be and what would you recommend to him or her to do in order to become better at communicating and at selling themselves?
Well, if you want to be good at communicating, that means that you have to practice communication, right? So you got to put yourself in those positions where you have to talk to people, right? For example, that means if you're working hard, or if you're like staying home, let's say 5 days a week, you got to go out there, with friends on a Saturday night. Don't do it just because, you know what I mean? Like, oh, now I have to go out. Don't treat it like that, treat it more as, okay, so now I have to go out with this group of people, right? Other people are going to bring other people, which means that now you have the opportunity to meet new people, right? Just like connect with them, ask questions, treat it as, of course, like a good way to learn, basically. That's how I was doing it back then, like I hated going out because I was so focused on learning, reading, doing all those stuff, right? I saw going out, for example, as a waste of time. But sometimes you don't have to look at it that way. Sometimes you look at it as an opportunity for you to get better, right? To improve your communication skills, to meet new people, because meeting new people means having new opportunities, right? You never know where it's gonna go. You meet somebody, he has a good opportunity for you, for example, a better job or something like that, right? So it's all about networking and meeting new people. Books are a good way, of course, to also improve communication, right? Reading a lot helps, but you have to put into work. You have to, really just be in those situations where you gotta improve those communication skills. And that's, at least myself, that's how I always did it, right? Like, if you don't practice, you will never get good at something.
And you have to embrace the fact that in the beginning you're gonna suck. Like, most probably you're not even gonna be able to articulate ideas, or
absolutely,
or else you'll find yourself in situations, and I'll refer back to some event we've been together, Bogdan, if you remember, like two years and a half ago, we went to an event, and there was this very charismatic, I guess, person that was working in sales. He was a CEO, and within 20 seconds, literally, he knew where I was from, what I was doing, how old I was, who I was there with, like 5 or 6 things, and I only knew his name within 30 seconds. And I was like, how is this guy doing it? Like, I haven't asked him anything yet.
Yeah, exactly. As you said, man, in the beginning, everything is hard, and then it becomes easy.
I would say that people are just afraid of getting out of their bubble of comfort zone. And of course, it's hard. For example, if you're a guy and if you're an introvert and you want to get better at communication, you're just going to run from girls because you think that you may be in an awkward situation. And just go out. For myself, what worked was just being on Tinder, to be honest. I'm an honest guy. I was just on Tinder and I was trying to get out with as many girls as possible. And that's how you get better at communicating and with people in general.
Yeah, for me it was pickup. I was picking up girls, and just like, like, hey, do you have Instagram? I have Instagram. Boom, just, setting up a date. That's how I was getting it, cold leads, basically. It just
lead generation.
Stopping them in the middle of the streets, And I do it sometimes, even to this day. If I see a beautiful girl, I just go and talk to her, and set up a date, and just, that's how I at least improve my skills. It was hard, of course, as you said, getting out of your comfort zone is the hardest thing ever. But if we don't do it, then
Bruno, I wanna dive deeper, and I wanna ask you something probably a bit more uncomfortable, but I'm more than certain that you'll be able to answer.
Oh, man, go for it, man.
What was the most embarrassing sales call that you ever had, and how did it actually become so embarrassing, and why was it embarrassing?
I remember once, because I used to close for dating, and then I found another influencer that was in business. And it was after 2 weeks, right? They were telling me about their course, right? Like they did a challenge. So they had like a free challenge, a big challenge. And they were bringing in like 500 people, sorry, like 500 people. And the calendar was always fully booked, right?
Mm.
But I didn't know exactly how to present our offer in such a way, that would be very attractive to them. You know what I mean? And sometimes they were just bringing unqualified people. But on my mind, I thought they were warm. Anyways, I jump on a call with this girl. She was from Australia. And we were talking, and I'm like, okay, so tell me more. The offer was basically to help them monetize their skill, right? To create their online business. They came from a 9-to-5 world, and, they would monetize their skill. And I asked her, I'm like, okay, tell me about your story, this, that. She started, and she's like, okay, so what is this call about? And I'm like, this call is basically, like to get to know each other better, right? To to basically, see if you and I were a good fit for each other. And she's like, what is this good fit? What do you mean by this? And I'm like, we have an offer. And basically, I'm going to tell you about the offer as well. And she's like, yeah, but it's a breakthrough session and it's free. I'm like, I know it's free. You're not being charged for it. But, we are a business at the end of the day. Anyways, like the conversation was like back and forth. And even myself, it was one moment that I really got stuck. And she was asking me, she's like, okay, so the only thing I'm getting out of this call is that you're telling me that this is the sun. And I'm telling you, yes, this is the sun. Bullshit like this,
Yeah.
And I was so uncomfortable. Like I could feel her energy. She would basically, if she had me in front of her, she would like, I don't know, like throw something at me or something. Like she was very angry, man. She was very angry. And there was like the most uncomfortable call that I was in because, I always know what to do. At least if I don't, then I can improvise. I'm good at improvising. At least in the beginning, when I didn't know what to do, when I started my career, I always had to improvise. But with this girl, like I literally was like, my brain just like completely shut down, and I'm like, fuck it, I don't know what to do. There was the awkward silence for like 2-3 minutes, and then she left. She left the Zoom. She's like, thank you for wasting my time, and then she just left, and I'm like, fuck this shit,
Funny. You know what? I mean, one of the things, because you were, while you were telling us the story, I remember that the better and the more you communicate and you try to sell yourself for a service or whatever, you just get better at understanding that rejection, it's not bad, it's good. And you learn how to actually take a no, because more or less, you don't, like, that person is not telling you no. Maybe it's telling you no because she or he had a bad day, or maybe you just didn't know how to approach you.
Exactly. There's so many reasons why she said no, for example, right? She had like a shitty day or something. You know what I mean? That's why I don't take it personally. That's the key.
Exactly.
You should never take it personally, man. Like you say no, next, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like I'm used with getting rejected. I don't care anymore. Even if a girl rejects me, she's like, no, I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend. To me, that sounds like, Bruno, next, you know? I don't get offended. I don't be like, oh my God, you know, she has a, oh, next, man. Yeah, there's another bus in 15 minutes.
I think it all comes down to the fact that if you identify yourself with that rejection, then everything crumbles. Then when you put your self-worth on the top of that thing, on top of that result, and it fails, then you obviously feel awful because, I failed to get this I failed to close this deal, or I failed to take this girl out and all that. But when you have a solid core and you know where you're coming from with what you're trying to do, to achieve, it's like, as you said, it's just like, well, it wasn't a good fit, whatever. There's so many other people I can talk to or that. But now I want to talk about, let's say, not necessarily an embarrassed moment, but a big failure that you've had, because we all know that failures are the best teachers. And I would love to know what's one big failure you've had and what was the learning curve on top of that failure and how did you bounce off it?
Basically, everything I started was a failure. Like every online business, everything that I've started, everything went to shit. Like I don't have like one specific failure because everything was a failure. Like I failed everything besides this one thing, you know, which is sales. Everything else for me failed. You know, I started so many businesses. I started so many apps, right? Like I was getting money. Like I was getting like, for example, some loans from my dad. You know what I mean? Like he was giving me like you know, 10K, 20K to start an app, to start this, everything failed. Everything failed until the moment. The only thing that didn't fail for me was you know, just getting into sales. Learning this skill changed my life. Before this, I was a failure.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that with us. I'm just curious now, how did you feel after your first failure, and what was the difference between the first failure you had and the last failure you had? What, like, in terms of your mindset towards it, and in terms of how you reacted to it?
That was my problem. You know, I was failing and I was not learning from the failure. You know, when I learned from the failure, after I learned sales, after I started to ask myself questions, that was the moment I started to realize, I was like, what the fuck, you know, you never reflected. Like I never reflected, you know, I was like failure after failure after failure. You know what I mean? I started like 10, 15 things, everything failed. And then the moment I joined sales, and the moment I was asking people questions and they were like, that's a good question. No one has ever asked me that before. And that's the moment I started to ask myself questions. You know, I was like in the morning, I was sitting down and I was asking myself, I'm like, why did I start this? What was the purpose? What this, what that? That's the moment I was, you know, started to reflect. And of course, it's very powerful when you ask sometimes questions, right? Like just why the fuck you're doing what you're doing.
Because like a book says, you got to start with why. And a lot of people, me and Bogdan have been talking about this on a podcast for like as long as I can remember. People, first and foremost, aren't asking themselves any questions, and because of that, they're not aware of anything that they are doing. Like, why do I want to eat a burger, or why am I going out tonight? Like, they have no idea why they do things.
Autopilot.
Like, they just go with the flow.
I know, I was like that. Everything was on autopilot. Why do I have to get a job? I didn't know why I wanted to get a job. Everyone was getting it. You know, like why, like if we go outside and we ask people why you're doing what you're doing, no one can give you an answer. They can't. Everybody is a sheep. I mean, majority.
Yeah.
I agree. Because it's easier just to follow someone, and it's easier not to think it for yourself. I mean, like you have said, okay, so if he's doing it, or if the government or if the law says it's good, then
exactly
it's good.
We had the pandemic, for example. I don't want to talk about that, but like we just came out of the pandemic, and there were a lot of questions that were being raised that no one even was asking them or even thinking about answering them. Everybody just accepted the way it was, and that's it. Why we're doing this? There's no answer for that. You just fucking do it. Okay.
Let's just celebrate. Let's just clap.
Yeah, just like a fucking sheep. I saw a lot of sheep, man. My eyes were open. During this pandemic, I saw really that most of people, they can hate me, I don't give a fuck, but most of people, man, they were sheeps. Like at least 99% of the people, they were sheeps. They were just following whatever things were coming on the TV. Another cancer is TV. Man, just stay away from fucking TV. You know what I mean? Like, I don't remember. I think it's been like 5 years last time I saw TV.
Same for us.
So happy, man. I feel like, I don't know, like that's cancer.
Yeah, and you know what's the good thing? Yeah, sorry to interrupt. You know what's the good thing? You don't even need the news. You don't even need the TV, because there are so many people that are telling you the news. You just think that, okay, but I'm not like,
up to date.
I don't know what's going on. Exactly. I'm not up to date with everything that's going on, but of course you are, because everybody's talking about them. Like on the radio, when you open up, like you are in the car or you're just waiting for something and people are talking about this. So you really don't need that shit. Just do the thinking for yourself.
Bruno, we were talking about this whole, I guess, lack of awareness, lack of interest in one's purpose. Like people have no idea what they do, anything that they do. And I think it all comes down to becoming more conscious, to becoming more aware of your thoughts, of yourself, of what do you do, everything that you do. And with that said, what would be 3 tips, 3 habits, 3 things that yourself implement or you recommend our audience to implement moving forward for them to become more present, more conscious, and I guess to ask themselves those questions more often?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, the way I personally did it was the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is I take a cold shower, like at the coldest settings possible. Why? Because it really reminds me to wake the fuck up. It's like a shot of espresso, for me. After that, straight, the second thing I do, it's, I start to visualize. I start to visualize my future. There's like a guided meditation that I always listen on YouTube. I don't remember the name, but there's always a video that I always put. It's like, 15 minutes. It's very short. And that, like breathing and, just like being aware that, you are right now alive, you are right now at the present. For me, that has helped a lot, becoming more aware. And also after that, affirmations. Those 3 things for me.
It's interesting you say that, because I wouldn't have thought that you are doing affirmations yourself.
Of course, I record my own affirmations.
And do you listen to them during the day? Or?
Yeah, of course. I record my own because I always like to do different affirmations, for like personal life, business life, and like fitness as well. Sometimes I also like record affirmation and I put them, I mix them with like hip hop, or trap or something like that, like really hardcore, like this I can listen to the gym. Yeah, I mean, I record my own affirmations. Like for me, those, I need to detox my brain, you know what I mean? Because there's always negativity, man, everywhere I go. I mean, I don't stay with people anymore in terms of, like here where I am right now, I don't really have, I can say that I don't have friends. Like I really don't, just like I stay with my family members, maybe cousins, 2-3 cousins here and there that I drink a coffee, but that's it, and also I have some, friends, that I stay with in, in the weekend, but I don't really have like friends, to stay with them, because most of the people here, man, they're too negative. Like they're so negative. If I tell them about something, for example, they're like, oh man, do you really think you can do that? Boom. Right there, you know what I mean? Like making me doubt or some shit like that, So yeah, I prefer to just like be alone. At least in the morning is very important for me to just like be alone. Just want to read do my meditation, the affirmations, and that's how I start my day. And so far, man, it's like the best way I've found, to start my day. Like,
that's the most important, I think. If you find something that works for you and you stick to it, I think that's the most powerful. But just to reiterate what you just mentioned for our audience, basically is cold showers, visualization / meditation, and basically third one was affirmations. Again, guys, feel free to try all of those out. We've been talking about them for like 2 years on the podcast, but I noticed that you were talking about not staying around people, and I was listening or reading, I don't remember, to a book, and there was this challenge. I think Bogdan, you know about it as well. There was try to not judge anyone for a day, and try to not complain about anything for a week. I've tried it myself, and I don't really am someone that complains, and I failed like probably after the first couple of hours, and then I've tried again, and I probably failed after the first 24 hours. And that's an exercise for people listening right now. If you think that you're not negative, just try to do this. Try to not complain about anything and just go about your day and take it with I guess, a sense of gratitude.
Yes. But it's also impossible to stay positive, 100% of the time. And like, let's be very transparent here, right?
Yeah.
It's impossible. It's easier to think negative than positive.
Way easier, because that's the reptilian brain telling us to stay away of problems, to stay in your comfort zone. Don't do that. Don't do this. It's way easier. And like you were mentioning before, I mean, like that rule with the 5 closest people that you have around you are the sum of yourself. And I guess until you find those people, and the most important ones that are really positive, you just better stay alone, like you have said, Bruno.
Yeah, exactly. I have friends outside of Albania that I talk to, if I want to exchange an idea, but there locally, I don't because majority of people, they're, like, we don't think the same. We're so different. They want to get a job, make 300-500 euros because that's the average salary here. Me, on the other hand, I'm at another place in life, so that's why we're not the same. So,
yeah, couldn't agree more with you. You have changed a lot. You have said that you have changed a lot, and sales changed you a lot, and your mindset is very different from so many people. But what's one thing that you would want to change about yourself that stays in your way right now towards where you want to go in life, or what you are working at yourself right now?
Oh, I'm nowhere where I want to be, man. It's just, I have so many things I need to accomplish. It's, sure, I had, let's say a good transformation from where I was to where I am. But I'm nowhere where I want to be. I have a lot of things that I need to work on, right? To scale my consulting business. It's one of them. I need to, learn also other skills, right? To put them on top of what I already have, right? So that's another thing. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, we never stop learning. You know what I mean? Like we will never. I don't think it's ever going to come a time where we're going to be like, okay, now I know everything. Or now I know. The moment you say, now I know everything, that's the moment you don't know shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we're always growing. We're always learning. And that's, I believe, how it should be, man, for everyone.
Talking about this, I just want to get your perspective on the following. And that is, if there will be, and there will probably be a time quite soon for us to be able to become immortal, would you choose to be immortal? If so, why? And if not, why?
No, I don't. I don't want to become immortal.
Why is that?
Because I see this life as a test. There's a beginning, and there's also going to be an end, which means that if there would be no end, what would be the purpose of life?
Nothing. Why would you do anything that you do?
Let's say you can live for, unlimited amount of times, right? What would people be doing?
Mm-hmm.
how do you enjoy life? You can do the same shit over and over and over and over. You're never gonna get aged, right? Well, how would life be? Like how would make any sense? Like to me, it would make no sense. So I know people are trying to find a lot of ways to extend the years, right? They want to go 200 years, right? But I believe that even if we had 200 years, a lot of people would be wasting 100 of it.
I agree. I agree.
It doesn't matter how many years we have, man. It's like I still believe there would be people they're gonna waste 100 or 120 years out of 200.
You know what's funny? Because a couple of hundred of years ago, the longevity was around 50, and now it's around 75, and nothing has changed. People, you can say that have no meaning. But talking about meaning, I'm really curious about your opinion. Obviously, it's very subjective. But what would you say is the meaning of life?
That's a big question. That's a really big question, man. Like the meaning of life for myself, it's to really, I see that like I need to leave a mark behind me. I would like to tell people that I have existed, that I was on this planet. I'm not just somebody that, for example, if I die next week, God forbid, who's going to come at my funeral? How many people will be there?
Not many people, no?
How many people? No, it's like family members and maybe 2-3 friends, right? So the question that I ask myself, let's pretend, Bruno, you die in 5 years. God forbid again, right? How many people are going to be at my funeral? Maybe 1,000, maybe 5,000, right? So the idea is that everything is going to come to an end, that's for sure. Now, I don't know where we're going to go. No one knows, right? I don't know if we go left, we go right. I don't know where we're going to go after c'est fini, after it's over. But the idea is to, the moment that we have on this planet, to really do something meaningful, leave something behind, leave a legacy, even though at some point that is not going to matter, because how many successful people died and no one gives a fuck, right?
Yeah.
Because that's how we are. We are all selfish, right? We just look at our life. Mm-hmm. We want to do our things. We want to make our own money, become successful, live a happy life. No one gives a fuck, like as much as we are human beings and social beings, at the end of the day, we're very also, like selfish, which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but that's how we are, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, man, like just do everything you can, because at the end of the day, no one is going to give a fuck about me or you. So just like live your best life, do something good, right? Help as many people as possible, as many poor people as possible. That's how I look at it. And just to be known about something, man, like, what are you going to do? Just waste oxygen.
Just consume, as we are programmed to do.
Exactly, just waste oxygen and that's it, At least to replace that, build a tree, like plant a tree to replace that oxygen that you're wasting on this planet. Now I'm joking, but like for real, like we have to, imagine how this planet would be if everybody would go lean. Imagine where would we be if everybody would really go all in and not care about like what he's going to think of me, what if I do this, what if I do that, Imagine if all of us, we would just go like all in life and become really like the best versions of ourselves. Imagine how far we would be right now.
Yeah,
I was just talking to my girlfriend this morning, very, very relatable to what we are discussing right now. I was just telling her, and it's very random. I was like, imagine if every fucking man on this planet wouldn't watch porn and wouldn't masturbate for no reason. Imagine how more powerful everyone as a whole would be. And imagine how only a few people would actually obey to all the stupid regulations and everything that is currently going on. Like, probably there would be a couple of more voices, if not thousands of more voices that would actually speak up for themselves. Because like nowadays, everybody's just putting their head down and just doing as they're told, as we were talking.
I I was closing for dating. So I was talking on a daily basis, at least like 7 to 8 guys every single day. And everyone, when I was asking, so do you watch porn? Everybody was like, yeah, I've been watching it for like, for example, last 5 years, last 10 years, last 15 years. Like literally everyone was watching. And that's another, you have TV, you have porn. These are like the cancer of the society, right? Like this is another cancer that is infecting all of us. Everyone is watching porn, and it's like a normal thing now to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's a normal thing to do now. And but people don't realize the damages that it does to your brain and your confidence. Man, I don't see confident people out there. When I walk, because I was never confident, but now I'm developing confidence every single fucking day, right? Like my brain knows now that I'm more confident. I'm showing proof to myself. You know what I mean? Like porn was like, I don't know, like 3-4 years ago that I stopped. But like I have so much proof now, and the confidence is being built. And when I walk, girls turn their head, for example. Even guys, they look at me, for example, because I'm in a suit, like sunglasses, looking cool, walking. And when I look around, I just see beta males. Like I see guys, there, or for example, when I'm at the coffee shops, like most of the guys, they're just like being nice, they're being betas, man. Like, this like disappearing, I don't see any more alphas. There's no more alpha males, like it's disappearing more and more. And it's sad if you think about it.
That's the epidemic that we should be talking about everywhere.
Exactly.
It's very sad, I don't see any more like guys and girls. They're telling me, for example, at least the girls that I'm, like I go out with, and I go out with, a lot of beautiful girls, right? Like 10 out of 10s, models and this and that. And yeah, they told me that, for example, when you approached me, that's something that never happened before. And I wish more guys were doing it. I wish more guys were approaching me like you did and talk to me and just have a normal conversation. And if it goes somewhere, sure. If it doesn't, fuck it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but people are not even like willing to try, and they're so afraid of rejection that they're not even willing to try it, and that's so sad, because that creates this shield of protection, and you're just hiding yourself from yourself and society and everyone else around you, and that's what creates beta males. When you're alone, when you don't know how to communicate, that's when they come after you. And that's when it's way harder to actually get out of that comfort zone. This is how it works, unfortunately.
Yeah, but just because you're hiding doesn't mean that you're giving a solution. It's a temporary solution. It's not even a solution. It's just you're postponing.
Yeah.
You're postponing your, like your fight, because it's like the battle. You're postponing the battle. You're telling me, I'm gonna hide today, and after 1 month I'm gonna see if I'm gonna go to the battle. No, this is a battle. You have to show up. You're a man. You gotta show up. This is Sparta. You have to fight. Don't be a pussy. Yeah. But most guys are pussies, so they're just.
Bruno, what's one book that has not necessarily changed your life, but let's say improved your perspective upon things? Because I've been following you for like quite some time now, and I know that you're reading constantly. But what is one book that has really opened your eyes in terms of like how to approach things in general?
Well, yeah, I mean, I read a lot, and books for me is like something I don't negotiate with, right? Every day I read at least 2-3 hours. And a good book, since we're talking about men and, how to improve their confidence and everything, and a very good book, I would say it's 48 Laws of Power. Robert Greene. Because more and more people are very soft nowadays. They're snowflakes. They get offended so easily, man.
Mm-hmm.
You say something, oh no, you hurt my, like feelings and this. They're so fucking soft, And And that book helps a lot, when it comes to like, of course, it's just like you have to be more aggressive in life, right? Life is not just like a field with flowers, right? It's a fucking battle, right? The moment you wake up until you go, you're always fighting. You're fighting with fake people, with people who want to fuck you up, right? You're fighting with your fears. We're always fighting every single day we wake up, right? With your failures, with like, there are so many things that we don't see, and that's the problem. Everything is invincible. Like we can't see, most of the enemies, we don't see them. And that's why most people, they lose the war.
Yeah.
because they're not
not even aware. Yeah.
They're not trained to see it. At least us, we are ahead because at least we are winning half of the war, let's say, because we can see them. Now we just have to do the other half, but they can't even see it. How can you win with something you can't see?
Yeah.
Impossible.
Yeah. That's why we gotta be aware of things. Sorry, Pastor.
Yeah, no worries. I think Dr. Jordan Peterson as well has been talking about this for years now, about the fact that he always gets questions from like males and like especially teenagers, like how can I like be successful? How can I find purpose? All that, and he talks about the whole metaphor for life when it comes to males, especially that you have to kill the dragon. Unless you are able to kill the dragon, you won't be able to find fulfillment. You won't be able to find anything that I guess makes your life worth living and all that. But yeah,
Exactly.
Carry on, Bogdan.
Yeah, just changing a little bit the subject and going a little bit deeper just before we ask you the last question of the show. I'm really curious, what are the things that you want to be remembered for or as, Bruno?
You mean after I die?
Yeah.
I want to be known as a very good sales coach and a good businessman as well. Somebody that has helped millions of people not only transform their life, but also make an impact. And yeah, I really want to help like millions of people. So I can create my own foundation. So I can just charity, give as many millions as possible when I get to that level. And yeah, man, just like as long as I'm gonna, when people think of me in a positive way, that's the moment I think I've accomplished what I wanted to accomplish on this planet. If somebody thinks and says, "Thank you, Bruno," because of you, I am where I am, or because of you, I see things from a different perspective, I'll be happy there in heaven or wherever I go.
Maybe they're gonna have a painting with you in their bedroom, because I was thinking to get one myself with Marcus Aurelius. So maybe they're gonna have a picture with yourself to remind them that they have to go through those battles.
Yeah, who knows where we're gonna be in let's say 5 years from now, right? Like life is very unpredictable. That's what I know for sure. Like, it's very unpredictable. Like you can go from 0 to 100 real quick.
Yeah, like Drake says. Yeah. Before we let you go, we got to be aware of your time and our audience time, but we're just going to ask you the last question. If you need it, just take your time to think about your answer. So it goes like this. Imagine that you are on your deathbed. So you are about to die. And right next to you is the best version of yourself looking at you. You see and comprehend what you could have become. So how would you feel about yourself and about your life in that specific moment?
Well, that's an exercise that I do almost every day. So that's what keeps me going, like the moment I look at myself and just, I don't want to live with regret, man. Like the only thing I don't want to live is regret. I don't want to be 70, 60, I don't know how long I'm going to be on this planet, hopefully long enough, but like, I don't want to be 65, 70 and look back and be like, fuck, I wish I could have done this and done that and this and that. So yeah, that's an exercise I do every day that keeps me very awake, right? And because it's very important to be awake. and to not make mistakes, because I had a lot of also opportunities, people, just like wanting to fuck me up, because of some deals and this and that. So that exercise also helped me to not be greedy. I don't want to be greedy. I don't want to be like, I want to make some money here fast and this. I'm looking more now for the long like game. I'm not a patient person. I'm very impatient. Like I want to do things very fast. But I also have realized that I need to play the long-term game, because it's about the process. That's one book that I was reading, Atomic Habits, where it says that, yeah, exactly. And something that really, I was like, wow, is that the winners and the losers, they have the same goal. Yes or no? Right? Yeah. They both wanted to win. So what is the difference between a winner and a loser if they had the same goal?
The systems that they are using.
Exactly. It's a system. It's the process to get there, to the goal. So that's why now I'm focusing less on the goal. Like it is at the back of my head, right? I want to reach X, whatever. But it's more of who I want to become so I can achieve that, compared to achieving it and, that's it. Oh, okay, I achieved it. Now what? No. So I want to become that person now. And that exercise, looking at the best version of myself helps me a lot to just like go in and not care what people think of me, in a good way, because at the end of the day, we all want to make a good impression, right? I'm not saying go and say fuck you to the world and just like be naked and all this bullshit, right? Because when people think of, I don't care what people think of me, they take it in a very
extreme way,
like, fuck you to the world and this and that. No. What I mean by that is to not let that fear of other people judging you paralyze you, to not take action, to not do the things that you want to do. That's what I mean by not caring what people think. When somebody sends you, for example, a message, a hate message, like I get sometimes, right, here and there, I get sometimes like, who the fuck you think you are, and this and that. Some people really get affected by those messages. Me, I don't care. So that's what I mean by not caring what other people think of you. Awesome. They deserve to have an opinion, but it's their business, not mine.
It's very refreshing to hear that you practice this daily, and it's something that everyone should practice, I would argue, because it helps you put things in perspective, and it helps you, as you said, stay awake and actually go by your day with intentions rather than just autopilot, as we are mentioning. But it's been an absolute pleasure, and I just hope that our audience has got at least 1% of the things that I've personally got, and I'm sure that you both as well. Before we let you go, Bruno, just wanted to give you the opportunity to let our people know where they can find you, any resources that you want to share, how they can actually start working with you, and everything that you want to share. Now is the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the main platform that I use is Instagram. So at Bruno Bajrami, that's where I post a lot of sales techniques and like content, right, like stories as well. And also the website where people, if there's a coach or a consultant who wants to take things to the next level and learn how to convert higher paying clients, they simply go to higherpayingclients.com.
Brilliant. You heard Bruno, guys. higherpayingclients.com. I think that only if you start watching and actually applying some of his content, you will already be in a better place. So at least if you are skeptical, at least try to do that for yourself and see the value in it, and then go from there. But yeah, with that said, it's been an absolute pleasure, Bruno. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Thank you so much, and you guys stay grateful. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for sticking all the way till the end. This shows that you are serious about taking your life to the next level and doing that through a perspective of gratitude. If you enjoyed this interview, it would help us massively if you could give us a 5-star rating review on iTunes, or else share this on your stories and tag us. This way, with your help, our message will be seen by more people, and together we will make this world a better place.